Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now August 2nd of 2022, and as we get closer to Star Wars Andor, Bad Batch 2, as well as Tales of the Jedi, a lot of fans are really beginning to prepare for The Mandalorian Season 3, which by the way is all set and ready to drop by February of next year, as long as no delays or problems come in between by Favreau and Filoni. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new Star Wars universe is that a lot of fans have been very curious about what's to come for Mando Season 3 and Mando Season 4, which by the way is being worked on back to back in different phases, not necessarily being filmed back to back, but being worked on in different parts. Now, one thing that we already know about when it comes to Favreau and Filoni is that they will be drawing a lot from highlights of Star Wars Legends to be used in the upcoming Mando Season 4 story. And by the way, they want to make it far longer than both Mando Season 3 and Mando Season 2. They want to make it at least 12 episodes, and we'll talk about that a little bit later and exactly what that's about to entail as well. Now, the thing about Favreau and Filoni right now and what they're currently planning is that Mando 4 is going to have a darker and grittier tone in comparison to what they had with the first two seasons as well as the current one that they're working on. And they really want to make it very much in line with Star Wars Legends, with the stories taken from Dark Empire, Shadows of the Empire, and the Thrawn trilogy. Now, moving beyond all of this is where things begin to really escalate when it comes to Favreau and Filoni's endgame and their overall plan when it comes to Star Wars lore. Now, specifically, of course, with many new Star Wars TV shows in the works by Disney and Lucasfilm, creators Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are actively developing their new Star Wars universe that will take inspiration from Star Wars Legends. Now, it's described, however, that currently for The Mandalorian Season 4, many storyboards have already been developed that are going to be finalized for the new Star Wars universe, one of which features a full-blown scene where both Luke Skywalker and Ben Solo are engaging in a sparring session on the world of Ossus, which is the home of Luke Skywalker's Jedi training temple and the school. One of the big scenes that are planned for Mando 4 is set to showcase a scene that entails Ben Solo developing his very own lightsaber with the assistance of Luke Skywalker's guidance through the words of wisdom on how to focus. Now, one of the storyboards features Ben Solo's eyes closed shut in the middle of the field of Luke's Jedi temple. A kyber crystal is illustrated in front of Ben Solo's face that is sparkling blue, where his actual saber begins to actually form piece by piece. Now, the sparring session, surprisingly, between both Luke and Ben Solo on Ossus is said to go back and forth between these flashbacks of Ben developing his saber. Actor Finn Wolfhard has already been approached by Disney to play a young version of Ben Solo, and that Favreau and Filoni are looking to achieve yet another fan cast made into a reality for the community. Given that Mando 4 will take place many years after the events of the third season, Ben Solo here looks to be close to his pre-teen years. Favreau and Filoni are said to be shifting around the canon and the timeline a bit to add in Ben Solo without jumping too far ahead into the future. Now, let me just pause here for 1 second before I get on to the next thing that's very exciting, is that one thing that we do know about Ben Solo is that there's a lot more to tell about this character in the comics, in the books, you name it. We really know little to nothing about the character, and they really want to build on his childhood. Now, I don't know about you guys, but them achieving more fan casts, I think, is amazing. You know, they did this with Rosario Dawson. She was a fan cast that Favreau and Filoni said, hey, let's make that into a reality. Let's listen to the fans. They're now doing it with Sebastian Stan to actually do the recast of Luke Skywalker. And now they're doing it with Finn Wolfhard for the role of a young Ben Solo. So they really want to make the fans happy. They really want to make fans very much satisfied with the direction of the Star Wars universe and exactly where it's all going. So that brings us to exactly what's going on with Mando Season 4. Like I said, it's going to be heavily based on Star Wars Legends, and they also want to create some new elements in there as well that's going to expand Ben Solo's childhood and Luke Skywalker as a Jedi Master. Moving on. Now, all of this has been finalized now to be used in the official script for the 4th season. Another storyboard features Luke actually beating Ben Solo in this training session, where Luke force pushes Ben across the field and onto his back, where Luke is pointing his saber at him before he deactivates it. The training session is said to be actually a planned thing by Favreau and Filoni to be very similar to the one that fans got between Kenobi and Anakin in the Obi-Wan series, except in reverse, where this time, the training session will be done in present instead of it being in the past. So that's a very clever move on Favreau and Filoni's part. They want to make sure that this training session is going to be in the present, not the past, but the flashbacks will be about Ben Solo developing his lightsaber, basically crafting it piece by piece, and then finally inserting that kyber crystal. So we're finally going to be able to see this for the very first time in live action, a saber getting built through the ways of the Force by a person that's in training. So that's one thing to look forward to as well in Mando 4. Moving on from that, Lucasfilm is looking to making this a very high quality duel for the fans to actually see. Ben holds, of course, a very intense situation here between himself and Luke, where Ben Solo is illustrated as wearing these white Jedi attire that deeply resembles what fans saw in the Last Jedi flashback scenes, except smaller to fit his younger years. Part of Mando 4 will be about the beginning of the end of Ben Solo and how it will play into other Star Wars shows that are currently being planned. Finn Wolfhard is set to actually begin training for his role as soon as the end of 23, as Favreau wants to begin filming by December of that year for Mando 4. Which, by the way, is going to be far longer than Mando Season 3. They are currently aiming to make it, at minimum, 12 episodes long instead of the traditional 8, and maybe even longer than that, if they can find the correct stories to actually go through. So, in addition, let's just be clear about this, they are making sure that Mando 4 is going to have a massive time jump. We're not quite sure by how many years, but quite significant, to the point where they can explore different avenues, different time pieces in the actual gap between episodes 6 and 7. They want to explore more about that. So I think it's a very clever move on their part. And, you know, when you look at the Mando Season 3 leaked trailer, it does almost come off like a conclusion to a specific era, right? To a specific number of years. And Mando 4 is going to be a new jump. So overall, I think that the addition of Ben Solo and Luke in this situation, and how they're going to get Finn Wolfhard as Ben Solo, and how they are going to deeply really resemble, what we got in Legends in a sense, kind of, working their way with Luke Skywalker being that Jedi Master that he should be, training Ben and training his new generation of Jedi. I think that this is really going to turn things around, and at the end of the day, Ossus is the home of the Jedi. It's the secret of the Jedi Code. It's the secret of the Jedi. If you guys have read Legends material, there's a lot of indigenous people that live on that world that are very heavily Force sensitive. That's also explored in Dark Empire 2, if you guys want to go ahead and read up on that. But overall, so far, everything is looking like it's falling into place. Let me know what you guys have to say about all this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.